Hey guys, just wanted to talk a little bit about the accessories that I've installed on my Ducati Streetfighter, and we're just going to start from the back. So the first thing is this tail tidy. It's by a company called V4 Evo. I really like this piece. It uses the original turn signals, so you would have to remove them from the OEM and then install them into these brackets here. It's a pretty straightforward installation. I actually thought of doing a video on it, but the instructions and the video that comes with the installation or links to the installation is so simple, I thought I would be wasting my time. So I really like it because you can ride it like this with your license plate on it. If you want to tuck away the license plate, you just push it over to the side. That releases a spring mechanism and it just folds in, and it looks very neat. I actually prefer this to the other one that is very popular, and one of the main reasons is there's not a whole bunch of cable that you need to wrestle with to hide and tuck. There's very little space in the hollow over here, and with the other manufacturers there's a whole lot of cable that you have to somehow fold and tuck, and I thought that was a real pain. So I went with this. This uses the original cable, and once it's installed there's just a little bit of cable coming over here, but it's absolutely easy to tuck away and stays out of mischief and stays out of trouble. And then I actually like that it uses the OEM turn signals, because this is nice and wide, so someone who's coming in behind you will not be confused as to whether you're turning left or right. So I'll put a link to this down, and if you like it, you can buy it. I think it gets shipped from somewhere in Greece, so at first blush that you might get a bit startled, but I placed the order and paid for it, and I think it got shipped the same day, and then it came to me in Texas within a week, within 2 or 3 days actually, not even a week. So the fact that it's getting shipped from a foreign country, in this case I think Greece, shouldn't bother you. So that's the tail light piece. I'm just going to keep it folded and tucked away. And you can see that I have a regular rear stand. It's a pit bull, even though this is a single-sided swing arm. And so what I have is an RNG set of spools. There's a rod that goes through, and it basically serves both as a slider, but it also double duties as a spool that allows you to use a regular pit bull rear stand. So as long as you're not changing tires, this is preferable to the single-sided rear stands that is kind of recommended for a Ducati. And the main reason I think is that this is way more stable, and plus it's got a lot of room, so if you do end up using tire warmers or something, it won't be dragging on the ground and losing heat. Obviously, if you're going to change tires, then you will need a single-sided swing arm, so you can take it off. It's pretty easy to remove these. All right, the next thing I have, these are Sato Racing hooks. So I've removed the passenger foot pegs, and then I've got these Sato Racing hooks. So the idea is that these are tie-down hooks if you're transporting the bike. This provides an excellent anchor point. I'll put a link to that as well. All right, and the next thing I have are Gillis rear sets. It's probably one of the best in the business. They are the OEM manufacturer for BMW. And I was trying to decide between this and the Ducati rear sets. They look very nice. The Ducati does, as does this. The main reason I went for this is that it comes with a built-in brake switch. I wanted to retain the brake switch and the light functionality. The Ducati rear sets also come with a brake switch, but it's a complicated or more complicated install. And so I just went with this. And if you're wondering why I need rear sets in the first place, well, if you're taking this to the track, you're going to have clearance issues right away. As soon as you pick up even a little bit of pace and your lean angles increase as you go around corners, with the OEM rear sets, you're going to find that you're dragging the foot pegs. And so this is one of the first mods that I did. And yeah, I'm super impressed and happy with the Gillis. And you can see I've got GB Racing case covers. These are advertised for the Panigale V4S. If you go to GB Racing, this particular set is probably not advertised for the Streetfighter, but it fits perfectly, as you can see. And then I'll show you the other side when we get around to it. And a lot of people like this, and so I went ahead and bought it. It's an Evotech sort of protector, and keeps that part of the engine from getting banged up if a pebble or a stone gets tossed back from the tires. And then I've got a Ducati frame slider. I really like this. It's just a single bolt. I think it'll do the job. It looks nice and slick. I was wondering what color to go with, but in the end, this Nero color scheme requires something subtle, and this just blends in. So couldn't be happier with the Ducati frame slider. All right, down here, I've got another set of frame sliders. I think this is a Ducati. I don't see the label, but these are pretty common and easy to come by. If the bike crashes, the chances are that the wing is going to take the hit first, and then this will protect the engine, and hopefully this will protect the wheel, etc. But of course, it all depends on the kind of crash you have. So hopefully I won't crash, and if it does crash, it'll be a lucky crash. All right, this is probably going to be a bit controversial. This is an MRA windshield. The installation is very straightforward. It's literally 2 bolts. At first I thought it might be a little complicated, but once you get this windshield set up, then it attaches to the bike with just 2 bolts. That's one there, and then there's one there. And again, the installation is super easy, so I didn't bother making a video on it. As far as its functionality is concerned, I think it does a reasonably good job of keeping some of the wind at bay, but it's not going to be as smooth as obviously a Panigale or a sport bike, where the wind just goes right over your face and you don't feel it, and makes you as, you know, aerodynamic as humanly possible. This thing is nowhere near that. And even though I did spend some money and time installing it, I'm not 100% sure that I'm going to keep it. I'm probably going to remove it and go back to just the stock configuration for this naked bike. I'll show you some more pictures of how this looks. This is probably a weird angle to be looking at it, but I'll come back and show you some other pictures for it. All right, what else do I have? I've got these weights to help with the vibration. These are Evotech, very easy to install. Literally take out a bolt and put this in. I've got that on both sides. This is obviously the other side of the frame slider, the other side of the GB Racing case savers, the Gillis rear sets, and you can see I've got the stock exhaust. I don't plan to change it. On my Panigale, I did put Terminioni. It's a bit of a pain in the ass to remove the exhaust, but it's certainly doable. I just didn't want to end up spending another $2,500 to $2,800 on the slip-on exhaust, and then another $300-400 on the up map to get it tuned. So right now, my decision is to not mess with the exhaust. It's got plenty of power, but that might change. And maybe one day I'll come back and install an Arrow slip-on exhaust, a full titanium, of course. And so, yeah, that's pretty much all the things that I've done that have made my bike even more special. Hit me up if you have any questions. This thing is just a GoPro mounting base. Seems to be a good spot for it to match the curve. And so that's pretty solid. And then I just got a tether. But yeah, I do want to install radiator guards and oil cooler guards, but it's such a pain in the ass to take these things apart and put it in that I've been procrastinating. I've actually got the parts. It's in that box over there. Yeah, I just don't want to take the time and effort to install this case savers, not case savers, but the radiator guards and the oil cooler guards. I really think, Ducati should have done this at the factory. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Hope you enjoyed. Again, if you have any questions, let me know.